who do they go to? The middle class. So it's just an absolute lie. Whenever she talks about investing in the economy, what she's saying is she's going to have to tax you more. The money's going to have to come out of your pocket. And her goal is to make government bigger. This frustrates me to no end, but this is what we're dealing with the Kamala Harris campaign. Now, I do want to show this video of Musk. I want to go to this rally real quick in a moment. I'll show her. And we need I can't believe this. I apologize. I'm sitting here. We have. OK. So anyway, let's do this. Let's go to video clip number 2. This is Elon Musk. Elon Musk was at the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania over the weekend. And here's what he had to say. Video clip number 2, por favor, Gabe.
And free speech is the bedrock of democracy. And if people don't know what's going on, if they don't know the truth, how can you make an informed vote? You must have free speech in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment.
Honestly, sometimes I don't know what to think about Elon Musk, but I tell you what, I'm so appreciative of him standing up for the First Amendment, regardless of, I don't know what his motivations are, except for freedom when it comes to this case. When it comes to the First and the Second Amendment, he's clear. He obviously, when it came to the First Amendment, put his money where his mouth is because he bought Twitter, now X. And that has given many conservatives, many Christians, many people of faith a free speech platform. It's not perfect, but obviously you have people out there like Hillary Clinton that are wanting to censor people, which is very, very dangerous. Actually, let's play that clip. So that was Elon Musk. That was Elon Musk at the rally this week in Butler, Pennsylvania. Trump has done, I believe he's at another rally tonight. This guy isn't stopping. Kamala Harris is slated to do some interviews this week. You know who she's doing them with, Gabe? Some people that can relate to all of us, Howard Stern, Colbert, and the women of The View. So those are relatable people to the working class. So I'm sure she'll knock those interviews out the park. But this is a lady that is still, frankly, running away from serious interviews. This is not a serious candidate. Her VP, Tim Walz, did a more serious interview than this weekend with Shannon Breen on Fox News Sunday than Kamala Harris, I guarantee you, will ever do before Election Day. We'll play that clip in a sec, but I do want to play Hillary Clinton because I want to go back to back. So here you have Elon Musk at the Trump's Butler, Pennsylvania rally. Trump returns there for the first time after the assassination attempt. Absolutely brave, absolutely cool. And I mean, it was so packed. It was freaking believable. But that's Elon Musk. Elon Musk wants to fight for free speech. If you're a Christian, I don't care if you don't like Trump. I don't care if you, to me, this is the biggest issue that we're fighting for right now. If we don't have free speech, if we don't have the ability to communicate, if we don't have the ability to share our worldview, to even share our Constitution, to share what we think, this country is over. It is done. It is finished. And that's what the left is trying their best to silence us. Here's Hillary Clinton on basically on censorship, advocating for censorship on these social media platforms instead of advocating for neutrality. Video clip number 5, por favor, Gabe.
If the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
Okay. So if they don't control it, if they don't control, who's they? Or if we don't control it, so who's we? We lose total control. Is it the globalists? Is it the Democrat Party? Is it the elites? It's certainly not we the people. So who are the we that she's talking about? Now, Section 230, I actually agree with. I do believe that these companies that are trying to censor conservatives should be subjected to Section 230. I believe that if they're not publishers, then they should not be censoring conservatives. This is not what she's saying. She's saying they are going to lose total control. And I suspect that it's her and all of her elitist allies. This lady is absolutely terrified for Trump to return to the White House simply because of all of the dirt that she has done. In my opinion, in my in my opinion. So anyway, I wanted to get to. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here sifting through my phone because there was a video of President Trump at the ball. This guy's been all over the place. He was basically a town hall with Laura Ingraham today saying how he was going to make women safe. So this is a guy that's doing so much. I'm scrolling through my phone, so forgive me. This is a video clip that I thought we had, and we do not have. So forgive me for that, Gabe. But I'm looking through. Let me just mention some of this. Trump on this solemn day. President Donald Trump is at Ohel Shabbat Lubavitch, praying for America, Israel, the hostages, and peace on this October 7th day. And let me just say, where's Kamala Harris when it comes to this? I mean, you have. This is what terrifies me. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here, but this is what terrifies me. Could you imagine Kamala Harris as president? How easily, if you think the warring that we see now is bad, the Middle East is going to flare up like nobody's business because these people aren't going to stop trying to attack Israel. In my opinion, it is in our interest to help Israel out, because it isn't just about Israel. It isn't just about the Jewish people. This is a Western civilization that I believe is being attacked. And the people that are attacking Israel, they want to take us down. They believe, the Islamic fascists, the Islamic terrorists believe that we're the great Satan. They believe that Israel is the little Satan. Israel does a lot of, different trade with us. They give us a lot of military help us with a lot of military stuff. They're asking to buy equipment so that they can defeat the enemies that are going to try to attack us as well. Let them do it and get out the way. I mean, this is absolutely insane to me. But we can play video. Man, I am sitting here searching for this. I'm sorry, guys. I just want to make sure. All right, so let me just state it because we should have had this video. It's a big screw up on my part. But Trump returns to the Butler, Pennsylvania rally, and he starts off by saying, as I was saying, obviously he picked up from where he left off the last time he was at Butler, Pennsylvania, on that field on July 13th of 2024 of this year. And he picked up right from that particular point. And I think that was something that he needed to do. I think that was something that was healing. I'm sure not just for him, but for many of his supporters. And honestly, in time for the nation, too. I think we will look back, even the people that hate him in history, and say, hey, all right, that was a pretty cool moment. And so anyway, I thought that was really cool. All right, let's go down the line here. What else do we have to be concerned about? We'll talk about Hurricane Helene in just a second. And again, continue to pray for those of us that are in the line of fire when it comes to Hurricane Milton here. But let's play this. I'm sorry, Gabe. Let's go to video clip number 3. This is Tim Walz. This is Kamala Harris's VP pick, probably being subjected to the toughest interview that he or Kamala Harris will have. And this is with Shannon Bream on Fox News Sunday. Now, Shannon Bream, very nice lady, very sweet lady, but an attorney that knows how to get to the point, an attorney that used to clerk for one of the Supreme Court justices. I forget which one, to be honest. But let's roll it. Video clip number 3, please, Gabe.
I want to clarify what the law is there in Minnesota. Abortion Finder, a website that helps women find access, says abortion is legal throughout pregnancy in Minnesota. There is no ban or limit on abortion in Minnesota based on how far along in a pregnancy you are. You signed the bill that makes it legal through all 9 months. Is that a position you think Democrats should advocate for nationally?
Look, the vice president and I have been clear. The restoration of Roe versus Wade is what we're asking for.
But that law goes far beyond Roe v. Wade.
To make her own choice. The law is very clear. It does not change that. That was been debunked on every occasion.
But let's agree. What you signed is there's not a single limit through 9 months of pregnancy. Roe had a trimester framework that did have limits through the pregnancy. The Minnesota law does not have that.
This puts This puts the decision with the woman and her healthcare providers. The situation we have is when you don't have the ability of healthcare providers to provide that, that's where you end up with a situation like Amanda Zaworski in Texas, where they are afraid to do what's necessary. This doesn't change anything. It puts the decision back on to the woman, to the physicians, and we know that this is simply something to be brought up to be very clear. Donald Trump's asking for a nationwide abortion ban.
Wait, he has said that
we don't see this as a winning campaign.
that he will not sign a national abortion ban. Are you calling that just, it's a flat out lie?
Yes, of course. And Senator Vance has in the past said so too. Now, look, they may see this as an election issue. We see it as a right of women to make their own bodily decisions. And that's what the states like my state have the ability to put that in. States like Georgia force women to cross the border, and then we have a death of Amber Thurman. So let's be very clear. Trying to cut hairs on an issue on this is not where the American public's at. They want the restoration of Roe versus Wade. Vice President Harris said she would sign it. That's what we'll do when we're elected.
But to be clear, the Minnesota law is far beyond Roe v. Wade. And about the Amber Thurman case in Georgia, her family has, and it's tragic, she is a young mother who left behind a young son. But what her family has said is it was a complication from an abortion pill that she received, and she didn't get proper care when she went to a Georgia hospital, which had multiple opportunities to intervene there. Her own attorney, the family's attorney, says it wasn't the Georgia law, it was the hospitals. What he claims is malpractice, not treating her when she clearly showed up in distress and still had the byproducts of her pregnancy because of that rare complication from the abortion pill. So just to be clear on the Georgia law and how her family and her attorney sees it.
All right. So her attorney, the victim's attorney, sees it different. They're suing. This guy is such a liar. Lied about being in a war zone or carrying weapons of war. This guy lies repeatedly. It's insane. He is a perpetual liar. Honestly, I hope to God we do not wake up on November 6th and come to the realization that that is the vice president of the United States and Kamala Harris is the president of the United States. I mean, issue by issue. Honestly, what I'm doing, issue by issue, these people are a disaster. These people are an absolute disaster. You think you're going to have peace if Kamala Harris is in office when the Middle East is on fire, when Russia invaded Ukraine under the Biden-Harris administration, when you have the let me see if I can find this real quick. When you literally had the Russian terrorists freed, the Hat Tip Daily Wire, Russian terrorists freed by Biden-Harris is back to selling weapons to terrorists attacking the U.S. Navy. So Victor Bout, the notorious Russian weapons trafficker who was locked up in the U.S. after being convicted on terrorism charges and who was subsequently released by the Biden-Harris administration, is back to selling weapons to terrorists who are attacking U.S. forces. We traded this guy. Biden-Harris did for Brittany Griner. Listen, I have no beef with Brittany Griner. I'm not trading Brittany Griner for the merchant of death. The Houthis have launched countless attacks against merchant vessels in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden over the last year following Hamas's October 7th attack. The Wall Street Journal reported that Bout, now back in Russia, is selling the weapons to the Houthis. Oh, my God. This is insane. This is insane. All right, let me show you just issue by issue. Where is this at? Where is this at? I'm sorry. I want to show you this. This is Kamala Harris over the weekend. She posted this on X. Let's just, if we can put this up on the screen. This isn't a video, but this is what she posted on X. I'll read it aloud. So if you can post number 4, please, Gabe, so that the people can see it. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast. Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. Por favor is where you can go to find it. Here, I'll just read it. Here's what it says. She says, the people of Lebanon are facing an increasingly dire humanitarian situation. I am concerned about the security and well-being of civilians suffering in Lebanon and will continue working to help meet the needs of all civilians there. To that end, the United States will provide, and does it go on? Okay, I can't read it. The United States will provide nearly $157 million in additional assistance. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read off the screen and I can't see it. To the people of Lebanon for essential needs such as food, shelter, water, protection, and I can't read that. Is that sanitation? I'm sorry. And sanitation to help those who have been displaced by the recent conflict. This additional support brings total U.S. assistance to Lebanon over the last year to over $385 million. So you have people in the wake of Hurricane Helene that were offered $750 each, and you have Kamala Harris willing to give the people of Lebanon $157 million. That money will not go to the people of Lebanon who want to be freed from Hezbollah, but instead to the terrorists. This lady is a disaster. This lady is a disaster. She would be such a disaster. It would be unbelievable. If you think Joe Biden is a disaster, this lady would absolutely beat her. Let me share this real quick. This show is brought to you in part by MyPillow.com. A large retail store just canceled a huge order, leaving MyPillow with a ton of extra MyPillows. But you know what? That's their loss and your gain. For the first time ever, you can get a standard classic MyPillow for wholesale prices for only $14.88. But it gets better. For a limited time, they're offering their entire classic collection at wholesale prices. Get queen size MyPillows for just $18.88. You can upgrade to a king for only $1 more. You can get the body pillows for just $29.88 and multiple use MyPillows for $9.88. Go to MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Carl. I spell it CARL, not like the communists, or call 800-858-0263 to take advantage of wholesale pricing for the first time ever. On top of that, receive free shipping on orders over $75. They have never been offered this low before. There are limited quantities at this price, so the limit is 10. And once they're gone, they're gone. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-858-0263 and use promo code Carl to get standard MyPillow for only $14.88, the lowest price ever. By the way, we're going to have Josh Hammer on the program tomorrow night, so we will be talking about the October 7th. Greater detail, the anti-Semitism that we see again popping up on college campuses, that the Democrat Party are relying on some of their anti-Semitic followers, supporters to vote for them. And I believe that Kamala Harris is trying to get that vote, which is absolutely disgusting. So we're going to go into further detail on the October 7th, the 1 year anniversary of the attack. Tomorrow with Josh Hammer of Newsweek. So make sure that you tune in to that podcast. We also will go into this issue, these lies being told by Kamala Harris and Tim Walz on this abortion issue and how you can defend them. So make sure you check out the podcast for that as well. So I just want to make sure that you know that we will go into further detail when it comes to these topics tomorrow. Now, let me share just a couple of things for you before we get out of here. I want to go back to this hurricane and this FEMA issue. Let's play a video clip. This is video clip number 6. This is Steve Doocy of Fox News, or Peter Doocy, I'm sorry. Ask KGP why the Biden-Harris administration can send immediate funding to Lebanon without Congress coming back, but can't do the same for additional disaster funds to North Carolina. And then KGP calls his question misinformation. Guys, the fact that they keep using this term misinformation, disinformation should scare the bejeebers out of you. And it brings the point home that Elon Musk made at that Butler, Pennsylvania rally. That is the issue to vote on this year. This war against free speech is absolutely terrifying. The federal government trying to tell you what disinformation is and misinformation. You're going to shut up and be silent. If they screw up on their jobs, you have nothing to say. They're going to be like China. You're going to be disappeared. You're going to be censored. You're going to be silenced. This is scary. But here it is. This is what video clip was that? Video clip number 6. Please.
To the impacted areas. But instead, people want to do disinformation, misinformation, which is dangerous, because then when folks on the ground hear that, they may not want to ask for the help that they need. That is there for them. That's our focus here.
But President Biden is fond of saying, show me your budget and I will tell you what you value. If he's got money for people in Lebanon right now, without Congress having to come back, what does it say about his values? There's not enough money right now for people in North Carolina who need it. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation, sir. What
Wow.
you do, yes,
Which
it's
part?
misinformation.
Is there money to send to Lebanon right now?
I just mentioned to you that we provided more than $200 million to folks who are impacted in the area, and I just shared with you that people are deciding not to. People are deciding not to.
President Biden sent a letter to Congress that there's not enough money to help people in
We're
North
talking
Carolina.
about the SBA disaster loan.
That's
yes.
money for people in North Carolina.
And that's important, and people in North Carolina need that. Wait, this is nothing new. Peter, this is nothing new. Congress comes together, they provide money, millions of dollars, for disaster relief. We're asking them to do the job that they have been doing for some time.
From a letter that President Biden
doing
sent to
for
Johnson,
some
McConnell,
time.
Schumer, and Jeffries. The president's letter is not misinformation. Would you agree?
No, the way you're asking me the question is misinformation.
Oh, my
There's
Lord.
money that we are allocating to the impacted areas, and there's money there to help people who truly need it. There are survivors who need the funding,
You can't
and
call
it's
a question
there.
that you don't like misinformation.
I said
That's
that,
very-
I actually said we have the money available to help survivors of Hurricane Helene and also Hurricane Milton. Now, there's going to be a shortfall, right? Because we don't know how bad Hurricane Milton is going to be. And so we're going to need additional funding.
That's exactly what I just asked about. And you said it was misinformation. Yes.
What you're asking me is why Congress needs to come back and do their job. That's what you're asking me. Congress needs to come back and do their job and provide extra assistance, extra funding to disaster relief fund. That's what Congress needs to do, and we're going to continue to urge that. You may not want that, but that's okay. That's what this president wants, and that's what the vice president wants. Thanks, everybody.
Someone to tell her that her suit jacket is way too big. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what was going on there. That was weird. Okay, so let me just share this story with you because this is very important. This hat tip to Real Clear Investigations. Although FEMA told Congress last month that it had $4 billion in its disaster relief fund, officials also warned that the fund could have a shortfall of $6 billion by year's end, a situation FEMA says could deteriorate in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. While FEMA is expected to ask Congress for new money, budget experts note a surprising fact. FEMA is currently sitting on untapped reserves appropriated for disasters stretching back decades. I heard a caller call into a show last week. I didn't know what to think about this. Here's the report. An August report from the Department of Homeland Security's Office of Inspector General noted that in 2022, FEMA, quote, estimated that 847 disaster declarations with approximately $73 billion in unliquidated funds remained open. What? Listen to this again. FEMA estimated that 847 disaster declarations with approximately $73 billion in unliquidated funds remained open. Not 847 cases or 847 families, 847 disaster declarations where basically the money has not been dispersed. Drilling down on that data, the OIG found that $8.3 billion of that total was for disasters declared in 2012 or earlier. Such developments are part of a larger pattern in which FEMA failed to close out specific grant programs, quote, within certain time frame known as the period of performance or POP, close quote, according to the IG report. Those projects now represent billions in unliquidated appropriations that could potentially be returned to the disaster relief fund. So people in the past never got taken care of. The money was never dispersed. So there's some money still there that could be used and tapped into. This is big government, guys. This is a disaster. FEMA needs to be reimagined. Actually, it does need to be broken up. I don't know what these organizations do anymore. I don't know if they're fulfilling their purposes, but maybe they are. We do have a video clip of, is this inside the furnished Maine apartments where migrants are getting up to 2 years of free rent and utilities. All right, that's in Maine. Let's play that. That's video clip number 8, please, Gabe.
How much is rent here?
Free. 2 years.
After 2 years, we have to pay the rent.
All right, y'all, this is Savannah Hernandez in Brunswick, Maine, reporting to you from the apartments where migrants are getting their rent paid for up to 2 years. Now, I wanted to give you guys a first inside look at these units. The migrants shared with us that they come furnished. So
Wow,
they have a flat
nice.
screen TV in there, couches, tables and chairs,
Nice.
a bed. We also asked them as well, hey, are you paying utilities here? They shared with us that nope, they do not have a water bill. They do not have an electricity bill.
And what about the light and the water?
Everything is good. We don't pay anything.
Now, I wanted to focus in on this area of Maine because there is a housing crisis going on currently for residents, and these buildings were initially created for Maine residents, but then it was decided that homeless migrants would be living here. Now, as an American, you can rent out one of these units, but a 1-bedroom is going to run you about $1,800, and a 2-bedroom is going to run you about $2,300. By the way, the average housing price for a house over here in Brunswick is about $480,000. So there was obviously a lot of outrage when it was first discovered that migrants were going to be housed here for free on taxpayer dollar. Now, I wanted to focus in on Brunswick as well because this is the same county that has received FEMA funding from that same program that spent almost $1 billion through the fiscal year of 2023 and 2024 on sheltering illegal immigrants throughout the United States of America. By the way, FEMA coming out and saying that they have run out of that funding.
We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
This is why I wanted to come up this way.
Misinformation on
This is why I
Alejandro
wanted to come to
Mayorkas' part?
Brunswick, because I wanted to show you guys a comparison of how the federal government is treating American citizens versus illegal immigrants and migrants in this country. This is how migrants up in Maine, up in Brunswick are living. We also went to Bangor, we went to Lewiston, and there are
Really nice
African
apartment.
migrants who share with us that they really like it over here,
Oh,
that they've been
man.
treated very well. We spoke to Catholic Charities who told us that they are expecting more migrants. They're actually bringing more migrants up this way.
Yeah, so we're expecting up to 150 refugees starting yesterday until September 30th, which is the fiscal year. And then we also have walk-in clients, which will increase those numbers. Generally for refugees that we know are coming, we help them get set up with an apartment.
This is unfreaking believable.
But we're always looking for like other landlords to work with as well for apartments.
So I wanted to give you guys an idea of what was going on in Maine, the uppermost corners of the United States of America, where you wouldn't expect there to be migrants. This is a direct result of the open border, the illegal immigration crisis that has been allowed to prosper over the past 3-4 years, and it's stretching to even areas of America that you wouldn't expect.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. Many Americans cannot afford food, cannot afford their gas, are struggling to pay their rent, struggling to pay their mortgages, struggling to pay their car notes. Meanwhile, inflation has been out of control under this administration, and yet money that you're working for, you're paying taxes, so illegal aliens can come into the country and get a luxurious apartment. Those were nice apartments for free. They don't have to worry about a thing. And then if you're a Hurricane Helene victim and you don't meet the criteria, you know, you're not voting Democrat, you're not black, you're not a minority, you're not a legal immigrant, maybe you'll get $750. Maybe. This is, I honestly, I was just about to say, I don't understand how anyone could vote for Kamala Harris, but let me share this with all of you that are conservative out there. There's a reason that people can vote for Kamala Harris. There are two different Americas out there. And the way that social media and the way that the news is impacting a lot of different voters, depending on what news outlets they subscribe to on their phones or they look at it on their phones or laptops or whatever it may be, they're getting that information. Those sources are being sent to them. A lot of people aren't scouring different news sites, different websites. They're not doing that. And the left knows that. That's one reason why I want Section 230, because there's a lot of censorship going on. If we got a lot of if you could subscribe to whatever news you wanted, but also you would get some of the same mainstream news, you wouldn't have the type of divided America, and I think you would have a more informed America. But these social media companies, Google and all these type places, they are specifically targeting voters to make sure that they can win these elections. So a lot of Democrat voters and people in the middle, if they're checking out CNN, MSNBC, if they're searching on Google, they aren't hearing stories like this. That's insane. That's insane. All right. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on some of the issues that you're gonna be impacted by, depending on your vote on November 5th. So you got to get out and vote. Make sure you tune in to tomorrow's podcast. Again, we'll have Josh Hammer on, and we'll also have another guest that will be on to discuss this abortion issue that Tim Walz continues to lie about and how you can combat it. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast: Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. The Carl Jackson Show is where you can find me, all things social media, at The Carl Jackson Show. Until next time, don't grow weary doing good. God bless you.